Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. We are looking at Pakistan's push towards renewable energy today.
Yeah, there's some exciting stuff happening over there.
Yeah, we've got a really fascinating mix of sources,
Absolutely.
news articles, reports, even some website copy.
Wow, that's a good variety.
So we're going to see what we can glean from all of these.
Excellent.
And the mission of this deep dive is,
Yeah.
what are the key takeaways for you as someone interested in this topic?
Yeah, what can we learn about what's happening in Pakistan and maybe how it relates to the bigger picture?
Totally. So one of the things that really jumped out at me from the World Bank article was that Pakistan could actually generate enough solar energy to power the entire country
Wow.
using just a tiny fraction of its land,
Really? How tiny are we talking?
less than 0.1%.
That's incredible.
Right, no, right.
But just 0.071% to be precise.
Wow.
And you know what makes that statistic even more remarkable?
Was that?
Pakistan has ideal conditions for both solar and wind power.
Oh, of course, yeah, all that sunshine.
Abundant sunshine, strong winds, and even significant water resources for hydropower.
They really are sitting on a gold mine of renewable energy potential.
Yeah, it's a very special place.
And it's not just theoretical, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Pro-Pakistani reports that they already have a solid amount of renewable energy infrastructure in place.
Oh, cool.
We're talking over 11,000 megawatts,
Really?
which makes up a significant portion of their current energy mix,
Yeah, how much are we talking about?
over 32%.
Wow. So they're really making headway.
Yeah, absolutely. So this shift towards renewables,
Right.
it's not just about clean energy.
But
Right?
it's also about economic opportunity.
Exactly.
Think about job creation, attracting foreign investment, and the potential for real, sustainable economic growth.
And I was reading somewhere that the
Yeah.
global renewable energy sector is expected to create millions of jobs in the coming years.
Yeah, that's right. The International Renewable Energy Agency,
That's a mouthful?
IREA,
Okay.
they predict over 11 million new jobs by 2023.
Wow, so if Pakistan plays its cards right,
Mm-hmm.
they could become a major player
They could be a global leader in this.
and reap those economic benefits.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I imagine there are some challenges too, right?
Well, yeah, of course, there are always challenges.
It doesn't happen overnight.
This kind of transition, no, it takes time.
What are some of the challenges?
One of the biggest hurdles is the high initial cost of renewable energy infrastructure.
Right. All the upfront investment.
Solar panels, wind turbines, grid upgrades, it all requires significant upfront investment.
So how are they tackling that?
Well, there's some promising developments.
Okay, tell me more.
There is a partnership between Nemir Energy,
Okay.
which is a Pakistani energy company,
Okay.
and Longji, a global leader in solar panel manufacturing.
So are they importing technology?
Yeah, but this collaboration is bringing Longji's advanced technology and expertise to Pakistan.
So are they sharing the knowledge?
Exactly, and they're helping establish local manufacturing capabilities.
So they're not just importing the technology, they're building it themselves,
Exactly.
which is huge for the economy
Absolutely.
and for their energy independence.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it seems like solar is gaining some serious traction in Pakistan.
It is, yeah. Their geographic location makes them particularly well-suited for solar power generation.
I remember reading somewhere that they have the potential to generate just a massive amount of solar energy.
Yeah, the potential is truly staggering.
Like, what kind of numbers are we talking?
2.9 million megawatts of solar energy.
That's a lot of megawatts.
It's more than 10 times their current total energy consumption.
Oh my gosh, that's wild.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about solar, but Pakistan is also well positioned for wind energy, right?
No, absolutely.
I was reading in Pro-Pakistani that global wind power capacity reached 743 gigawatts by the end of 2020.
That's a lot of windmills.
That is a lot of windmills
Yeah.
with their suitable conditions in coastal and high-altitude regions.
There's some great spots.
Pakistan's poised to become a significant player in wind energy.
Oh, for sure.
But let's not forget about hydropower,
Right.
which has been a major part of their energy mix for a long time.
Absolutely.
It's not going away anytime soon.
It's a reliable source of energy for them.
So it sounds like they're really embracing a diverse approach to renewable energy.
Yeah, it's not one size fits all.
Absolutely.
They're leveraging their diverse natural resources to build a sustainable energy future.
I like it. So what about the government?
Yeah.
Are they on board with this shift towards renewables?
They are. The World Bank report highlights their commitment through policies,
Okay.
like the Alternative and Renewable Energy Policy of 2019
Right.
and the Indicative Generation Capacity Expansion Plan,
Which is known as,
IGCEP 2047.
okay, so IGC 2047.
It's a bit of a mouthful.
It's a long-term roadmap, right?
It is, yeah, for expanding their electricity generation capacity.
So they've got some big plans,
They do.
and they're thinking long-term.
And it lays out a clear path for incorporating more renewable energy sources into their energy mix.
So it's not just like a vague plan.
No, it's very specific.
What kind of targets are we talking about?
So the World Bank study emphasized the urgency of scaling up solar and wind power.
Okay.
They see it as a crucial step in reducing Pakistan's dependence on fossil fuels
Right.
and achieving energy security.
And I imagine that's a priority for them.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But shifting away from fossil fuels
Yeah.
is a complex issue.
It is. What about the economic impact?
Well, the World Bank study actually found that expanding renewable energy could result in significant cost savings for Pakistan.
Really?
Yeah, they estimated potential savings of up to $5 billion.
That's a huge incentive.
It is, and it's good for the environment and the economy.
So it's a win-win.
It's a win-win, but
It's always a but.
there are some complexities to consider.
Like what? What are some of the hurdles they need to overcome? Well, one of the biggest challenges is the need for continued government support and investment.
Right, to keep this transition on track.
Yeah, this transition requires a long-term vision
Yeah.
and consistent policies to ensure it stays on track.
Consistency is key.
Absolutely. And, on a practical level,
Yeah.
one major hurdle is the need for significant upgrades to their transmission system.
Okay, yeah, the grid.
The existing infrastructure isn't really designed to handle the intermittent nature of renewable energy sources like solar and wind.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So that's a big challenge.
So they've got their work cut out for them.
They do, but the potential rewards are enormous.
That's what makes it so exciting.
It's a complex undertaking, but this isn't just about Pakistan.
Right, this is global.
It's about setting an example for other developing nations that are looking to transition to a more sustainable energy future.
It's a global movement.
Absolutely.
And Pakistan is right there on the front lines.
Yeah, they're leading the way in many ways.
Okay, this has been a fantastic overview of the situation so far.
We've just scratched the surface.
There's a lot more to unpack here.
There is, and I'm really interested to hear more.
So let's take a deeper dive into those aspects in part 2 of this deep dive.
Great, I'm ready when you are.
Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. So we spent a lot of time in that last part talking about solar and wind,
Yeah, all that potential.
but we also touched on some of the challenges they face.
Yeah, we talked about the grid upgrades and
Okay.
consistent government policies.
But there's another challenge that we need to discuss.
The coal dilemma.
The coal dilemma, okay?
Yeah,
So Pakistan has a significant amount of coal, right?
they do. And there's a lot of pressure to use it for energy.
Right, and I can see why from an energy security standpoint,
Right.
being less reliant on other countries.
Yeah, Pakistan has historically relied on imported fuels.
Right.
And using their own coal could reduce that dependency.
So it makes sense in a way.
Plus, there's that potential for job creation in coal-dependent regions.
Right, so there's a lot of factors at play here.
Absolutely.
But doesn't that clash with their push for cleaner energy?
It does, yeah.
Coal is a major contributor to climate change.
It is, yeah.
And even though there are cleaner coal technologies,
All right.
they're often more expensive.
Yeah, the World Bank report actually suggests that relying heavily on coal might not be the most economically viable option in the long run.
Especially with the decreasing cost of renewables.
Especially with, things are changing quickly.
So it's like they're trying to balance these short-term economic benefits with long-term environmental and potentially even economic sustainability.
It's a tough choice.
It's not an easy choice.
And it's not just about the economic and environmental
I
factors.
mean, it's about people.
Yeah, there's social considerations too.
Absolutely.
Shifting away from coal could impact jobs and livelihoods in communities that have historically relied on the bill industry.
So how do you navigate a transition like that in a way that's fair
Right.
and minimizes those negative social impacts?
Well, that's where the government's role is crucial.
Yeah, they have to really think this through.
They need to manage this transition very carefully and thoughtfully.
Absolutely.
Things like retraining programs for workers,
Right.
investing in alternative industries in those coal-dependent regions,
Okay.
and ensuring a just transition.
Got it. So lots to consider there.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've got the policy side of things,
Right.
the coal dilemma,
Uh-huh.
the need for these massive infrastructure upgrades.
Right.
But what about the financial side of this?
Yeah.
Renewable energy projects require a lot of upfront investment.
They do, especially those large-scale projects like Solar or wind farms be
Exactly.
very expensive to build.
And especially for a developing country like Pakistan.
Yeah.
So how are they attracting the investment they need?
Well, they're exploring a number of avenues.
Okay.
The World Bank study emphasized the importance of attracting foreign investment.
Right. Bringing in money from outside.
And we're already seeing some positive signs, like that partnership between Nymir Energy and Longi that we talked about earlier.
Right. Yeah.
That's a huge vote of confidence in Pakistan's renewable energy sector.
But what about, like, everyday citizens? Can they get involved in this energy transition?
Oh, they absolutely can.
Okay, good.
In fact, they're already playing a significant role.
Oh, cool. How so?
Well, the Point article highlighted the growing popularity of rooftop solar installations.
Oh, okay. So people are putting solar panels on their own homes.
Exactly, and specifically something called net metering.
Net metering. What is that?
It's a system where individuals and businesses can install solar panels on their rooftops
Okay.
and sell any excess energy they generate back to the grid.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so instead of just consuming energy, they can become producers.
So they've got their own little mini power plant
Exactly.
and they're contributing to the grid.
It creates a more decentralized and resilient energy system.
I like it. But going back to what we were talking about earlier, those grid upgrades are still essential, right?
We are, yeah.
Can you explain why that is? Why is the grid such a critical piece of the puzzle?
Well, solar and wind power, they're what we call intermittent energy sources.
Okay.
Meaning their output fluctuates depending on the weather conditions.
Of course, yeah.
The grid needs to be able to handle these fluctuations to ensure a stable and reliable supply of electricity.
I see. It's like a balancing act.
Exactly. So it's not just about adding more renewable energy to the mix.
Uh-huh.
It's about making sure the system can handle it effectively.
So what kind of upgrades are we talking about specifically?
Well, things like smart grids,
Oh,
which use digital technology to optimize energy distribution,
Yeah.
energy storage solutions like batteries,
Okay.
and improving forecasting capabilities to anticipate changes in renewable energy generation.
Got it.
It's a pretty big undertaking,
It sounds like it.
but it's essential to make this whole transition work.
So we've got a lot of moving pieces here.
We do. It's a complex system.
But with the right investments and planning,
Absolutely.
Pakistan could really transform its energy landscape.
And become a real leader in this field.
But we've also talked about some pretty significant challenges.
We have, yeah.
So overall, what's your take on the outlook for renewable energy in Pakistan?
I'm cautiously optimistic, I'd say.
Okay.
The potential is there,
Yeah.
the government is committed,
Yeah.
and progress is being made,
Up
but
front.
navigating the social and political complexities
Right.
is going to be key.
To really unlocking that full potential.
Exactly.
Okay, well, speaking of social and political complexities,
Yeah.
I think it's time we dive into those aspects.
I'm ready.
They're a crucial part of this story, and I'm really curious to hear your insights on how they're shaping this energy transition.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, so stay tuned for part 3 of this deep dive, where we'll explore the human element of this fascinating story. All right, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive into Pakistan's renewable energy journey.
Yeah, looking forward to wrapping this up.
We've covered a lot of ground already.
We've talked about the potential,
The challenges,
the tech hurdles.
the complexities of moving away from those fossil fuels.
But now...
It's time to shift our focus to the human side of this story.
Right, let's bring in the people.
Because this transition, it's not just about megawatts and gigawatts.
Mm-hmm.
It's about people.
It's about the impact on communities across Pakistan.
Exactly. So let's start with those everyday citizens.
Okay.
How are people reacting to this whole energy transition? Are they on board?
Well, it seems like there's a growing awareness of the benefits of renewable energy among the general public.
I guess that makes sense. Pakistan has struggled with those energy shortages in the past.
They have. People have experienced firsthand the impact of unreliable and expensive energy.
So I can imagine they're pretty eager for solutions
Yeah,
that can provide cleaner,
right.
more affordable.
Dependable energy.
Exactly. And the sources we've seen, particularly that Point article,
Mm,
highlighted how the government's National Solar Energy Initiative
right.
is being welcomed by many
It is, yeah.
because it promises to bring down those electricity costs.
Exactly. People are seeing the real potential for solar energy to make a difference in their lives.
So it sounds like there's public support for this transition.
Yeah.
But are there any concerns or
Well-
pushback?
Well, yeah, change can be unsettling,
Absolutely.
especially when it comes to something as fundamental as energy.
Yeah, of course. What kind of concerns have you seen?
Well, one that's been raised is that potential impact on jobs in the traditional energy sectors like coal.
Right. Like we talked about earlier, if Pakistan shifts away from coal,
Yeah.
what happens to the people who work in those mines and power plants?
That's a really important question,
Yeah.
and it's one that the government needs to address.
It's about making sure those people are supported.
Right, ensuring a just transition,
Exactly.
making sure that those who might be affected by this shift have opportunities to transition to new jobs and industries.
Retraining programs,
Exact.
investments in those alternative industries in the coal-dependent regions.
Yeah, all essential elements of a responsible energy transition.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've talked about the public perception and the concerns around jobs.
Mm.
What about the political landscape?
Yeah.
Is there a consensus on the importance of renewable energy?
Broadly speaking, yes.
No.
The World Bank report indicated that both the federal and provincial governments have expressed support for expanding renewable energy.
Right, and the Alternative and Renewable Energy Policy of 2019 is a really concrete example of that commitment.
It is. It sets some ambitious targets
Yeah.
for renewable energy adoption.
They're serious about it.
They are, but politics can be unpredictable.
Yeah, for sure.
So are there any potential roadblocks or conflicting interests that could slow down this transition?
Yeah, like what could get in the way?
Well, one challenge is ensuring consistent policy implementation.
Right, governments change,
Ah.
priorities shift.
Yeah, maintaining that long-term vision can be difficult.
That's the challenge everywhere.
You're not just in Pakistan.
Absolutely.
Political will and long-term planning are essential for any kind of major societal transformation.
Absolutely. And another factor to consider is the influence of those powerful interest groups.
Right, like those who benefit from the way things are now.
Exactly, like those in the fossil fuel industry.
Yeah.
They might resist this shift if they see it as a threat to their own interests.
Makes sense. So navigating those political dynamics and building consensus is going to be crucial for success.
It is. It's all part of the process.
Okay, so we've got the public, the government, and those potential challenges from vested interests.
Yeah.
What about the role of international actors?
Right.
How are they supporting Pakistan on this journey?
Well, international collaboration is playing a key role.
I mean, the World Bank report we've been talking about is a prime example of that.
It is. They're providing funding,
Right.
technical expertise,
Even policy guidance.
all to help Pakistan achieve those renewable energy goals. And I remember the Point article mentioned that 600 megawatt solar project
Yeah,
that was being offered to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
that's right. And those kinds of international partnerships
Yeah.
are essential for sharing knowledge,
Right.
attracting investment.
And accelerating the deployment of those renewable energy technologies.
Yeah, it's a team effort.
So it sounds like Pakistan's receiving support from various international partners who recognize the importance of this transition.
They do. It's not just a national effort, it's a global one.
It's a global movement towards a more sustainable future.
Absolutely.
And Pakistan is playing a significant role in that movement.
They are. It's a fascinating case study, really. A developing nation facing its own unique challenges,
Yeah.
but also seizing this opportunity to create a cleaner, more sustainable energy system.
And they could potentially become a model for other developing nations that are looking to make a similar transition.
With all this potential, could Pakistan become a regional leader in renewable energy, setting an example for others to follow?
That's a great question to leave our listeners with.
It is something to think about.
It's a reminder that this transition is bigger than just one country.
Yeah.
It's about this collective effort to create a more sustainable future for everyone.
It is, and with that, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We've explored the potential, the challenges, the human stories behind Pakistan's renewable energy journey.
We've seen how a country can embrace innovation and strive for that brighter, cleaner future.
Absolutely. It's inspiring.
And as always, we encourage you to continue your own exploration of this fascinating topic.
There's a lot more to learn.
You can find links to all the sources we've discussed in the show notes below.
Check them out.
We hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity and inspired you to learn more.
Yeah, and keep those brains buzzing.
That's it for this episode of The Deep Dive. We'll catch you next time with a whole new set of fascinating sources and a brand new topic to explore.